Hello everyone, in today's video we'll be doing the chapter probability revision of the chapter probability. Okay, so basically in this video I'll be telling you about all the basic important points of the chapter. Okay, see, while discussing probability, what we actually talk about the chances, the probability of a particular event, right? If we say that, if we take today's general example, that we say that nowadays the corona cases are decreasing, and so we can say that now there are more chances that there will be some kind of unlock, right? Which are necessary to do. And if there are so many chances, if there are so many cases still going on, what our government will do, we'll say that there's probability that our schools are not gonna open, although that are still not gonna open, and there would be complete lockdown, right? We'll say that there are so many cases increasing, so there is a very high probability that it would be that the government would give us complete lockdown. In this way, we you know this is a chapter that we can link with our practical life very easily, so we can say that this is somewhat easier to understand, right? So what we actually do in probability, we have also earlier learned about this chapter. We basically talk about favorable events that we want to happen, which are in our favor, divided by the total sample space, right? In this way we say that this is the probability of my event, the favorable event which I want that it must happen, right? So let me take an example, that there are 7 white and 3 black balls. So I am giving you a question, okay? There are 7 white and 3 black balls. They are randomly arranged in a row. The probability that 2 black balls are adjacent. Basically, I have linked probability with permutation combination. That is a nice thing about probability, that when you study it in plus 2 standard, you will get it linked with permutation combination chapter. So okay, I have given you a good question, please try. I'm again repeating the question. The question is, there are 7 white and 3 black balls are randomly arranged in row, and we need to know the probability that there are two black balls are adjacent. Okay, how can I solve? That no two black balls are adjacent. Basically, I don't want any black ball to be adjacent. So what I'll think, that okay, there are 7 white balls. Let me write the 7 white balls. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I also know that in between these white balls I have some space where I can keep black balls. If I keep one black ball here, one black ball here, and one black ball here, still they are not adjacent, right? They are still separated. Okay, so basically how many gaps do I have? Basically the basic formula is the number of balls that you have plus 1 will be the number of gaps, right? If I count, that means it must be 8. If I count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, there are 8. So I told you correct. Okay, so I basically need any 3 positions out of 8 for no two black balls to be adjacent, right? This is the main reason. Okay, if I'll choose any 3 positions out of 8, so the probability would be, because they are identical, so their arrangement would be 1 into 8 C3. I am choosing 3 positions out of 8 into 1. Okay, now what is the probability of occurring of this event? 8C3, because they are identical, the arrangement of white balls would also be 1, and the arrangement of these 3 black balls would also be 1, because they are identical. Okay, but I just needed 3 positions out of this 8 positions. Now what is the total probability? That is 10 factorial by 7 factorial by 3 factorial. This is the total number of events in which I can randomly place the white and black balls, right? Because there are seven identical white balls and seven identical white balls and three identical black balls. So I am dividing by the total permutation. So this is the total probability of occurring of the event. Now you will solve, you will get the answer as 7 by 15. So this was a good question. I hope you know the gap method of PNC, and you also know that how can we arrange a 7 identical and 3 another kind of identical things, right? Okay, next thing is that if we have 4 distinct apples and 3 distinct oranges. No, not take distinct, I'll focus on identical only. Let's focus on identical only. Okay, we have 4 identical apples, 4 identical apples and 3 identical oranges. It would become easy for us to solve because we need to focus on probability more. Are randomly placed in a row, what is the probability that terminal position are taken by oranges? So basically I'll keep my apple over here. I'll draw 4 apples. Now how many positions do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 positions and I need to keep oranges at the terminal positions. So basically, how to choose the terminal positions? We know that there would be 2 oranges kept, one kept over here, right, and one kept over here at the terminal position. We still have 1 orange left, right? So basically, for keeping at these 2 terminal positions, I actually need to choose 2 oranges out of 3 identical oranges. So that choosing would be 3C2, right? Into these 2 can be also arranged in different manners, 2 factorial into. Now it doesn't matters to me that the leftover orange come here or here or here. We'll have basically the arrangement of 5 things, right? And that 5 things would be 5 factorial. So this is the total arrangement, right? And the arrangement of these also we know that these out of these 5 things, 4 things are identical, so I'll divide by 4 factorial, right? We also know that out of these and also you can divide it by 2 factorial because these 2 things are identical, so it doesn't matters to me that any orange can be kept at any position. So this is the thing when I'm talking about identical. I was earlier thinking of keeping it simple by keeping it identical. Actually, making identical things is bit difficult. Why? Because in this case it was very simple, but in this case if they were distinct, then the calculation would have been easier. Okay. So basically, आपको ये चीज़ समझ में आ गई है that out of 3C2 I need to choose any 2, right? Although they are identical, but their arrangement would be 1, and out of these 5 things 4 are identical, so this would be 5 factorial by 4 factorial. And the total arrangement of the things, because there are 7 things, out of which 4 things are identical and 3 things are identical, this would be the probability of the given situation. So basically this was more concerned of a PNC, but I'll be giving you the basics of chapter probability also. Okay, so now let us proceed. You have always studied about, you might have been confused in this concept that odds in favor of A, odds against A. What is this concept of favor and against? Let us discuss about it. Basically, in odds in favor of A, you will keep the probability of your A, and you will divide by the probability of not occurring of A. So this is basically the odds in favor of A. And odds against A, you will keep in numerator the probability of not occurring of A, and you will divide by the probability of occurring of A. Okay, so this is the major concept, and I hope you are able to understand it. Okay, now our next question says, and if it's given that, okay, out of, you have been given like these two conditions, like, okay, odds in favor of A, let me take another condition, that the probability of A is m divided by m plus n. Now I have given you this question that, okay, this is the probability of A. Now you need to tell me what is the odds in favor of A and what is odd against A. So what I'll see, that basically this value is n of A, right? Okay, so in favor I'll keep this m over here, and out of the total sample space, if I subtract m, but I'm left with n, so I'll divide by that. Now odds against A, out of total sample space, if I subtract that number of, probability of A, not basically probability of A, number of occurring of event of A, then I'll get n divided by m. So basically these two are reciprocal of each other for this A. Okay, so now let us discuss a question. I'm giving you a question, you may get PNC over here. Okay, the question is, a bag contains 5 white and 4 red balls. 3 balls are drawn, odd against all 3 are red is. So basically I am repeating the question again, कि मैंने आपको 5 white balls दी हैं. There are 5 white balls and 4 red balls. Now I am asking you that 3 balls are drawn. The total balls we have are 9 balls. Out of these 9 balls, I am drawing any 3 balls. Now you need to tell me odds against all 3 are red is. So basically odd against all 3 are red. So how will you choose? What is the probability that all 3 are red out of 9? If all these 3 are red, what I'll choose? I'll choose that 4C3 is basically the chances that all 3 are red. Right? And what is the, probability that all 3 are not red? So basically for that, if I calculate probability of A that all 3 are red, if I calculate the probability that all 3 are red, what is that probability? 4C3 divided by any 9C3 votes. This is the probability. That means odds which are not in favor is basically 9C3 minus 4C3. Okay. From that, if I calculate, okay, I chose that 4C3 divided by 9C3. If I calculate the probability of A, basically, if I'll calculate this would be 4 divided by 84, which I can say 1 by 21. So this was probability of A, and I earlier told you that for any A, if the probability of A is m divided by m plus n, that odd against A would be n divided by m. I told you about that. I can see over here, this is my m, and this is, see, this is a trick. I am using a trick. Okay, so this is m plus n, so I can say that n is 20, m is 1. So what are my odds against A? That would be 20 divided by 1. So this is our answer. I hope the concept is absolutely clear. Okay, now let us proceed. Do you know well about Venn diagrams? Because in probability also you can be caught in in Venn diagrams. So I'll make you understand Venn diagrams also. Okay, see how Venn diagrams are drawn. This is basically my total sample space. कि इससे ज़्यादा तो मेरे पास नहीं हो सकती एलिमेंट्स. ठीक है, ये टोटल नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट्स है, उनके अंदर मैं एक ए डालती हूँ, और एक बी डालती हूँ, ये जो एरिया होता है ये दोनों में कॉमन होता है, ठीक है। और अब अगर मैं कहूँ कि सिर्फ जो वो चीज़ जो सिर्फ ए में लाई करे, सिर्फ ए में, बी में ना लाई करे, वो कौन सी होती है? ये, इसको मैंने कर दिया पी नाम दे दिया, इसको मैंने दे दिया क्यू नेम जो दोनों में कॉमन है, और इसको मैंने दे दिया नेम आर जो सिर्फ बी में आ रही है, ओके। और इसको मैंने दे दिया एस की रेस्ट, ठीक है, इनके बाहर जो है पर टोटल सैम्पल स्पेस में। तो अगर मैं यूनियन करूँ, अगर मेरे को यूनियन चाहिए, दोनों का सेट का यूनियन चाहिए, तो यूनियन क्या है बेसिकली? यूनियन है कि ये बचा कुचा एस, ये पी, ये क्यू, ये आर। यूनियन का मतलब होता है कि ये जो भी है इसके अंदर, इस डिब्बे के अंदर जितना कुछ भी है वो सब कुछ, यानी कि मेरे को पी जो सिर्फ ए में आ रहा है वो भी, क्यू जो ए और बी दोनों में आ रहा है, आर जो सिर्फ बी में आ रहा है, और वो रेस्ट जो ए पी क्यू आर मतलब इनमें से कहीं नहीं आ रहा, वो सब कुछ, यानी कि मुझे इस पूरे का टोटल जो है वो यूनियन देता है। अगर मैं एन ऑफ ए की बात करूँ कि मुझे ए चाहिए, ए, तो ए सिर्फ अगर मैं ए को देखूँ एज पूरा ए, तो वो तो पी प्लस क्यू है ना, तो वो पी प्लस क्यू, ठीक है, मैंने यहाँ पे। और अगर मैं एन ऑफ बी की बात करूँ तो वो क्या आएगा? आर प्लस क्यू आएगा। अगर मैं एन ऑफ ए इंटरसेक्शन बी जो दोनों में, जहाँ पे ये दोनों इंटरसेक्ट कर रहे हैं वो वाला, ये क्यू, एंड एन ऑफ ए यूनियन बी, तो उसमें पी भी आएगा, क्यू भी आएगा, आर भी आएगा, ओके। और एन ऑफ ए यूनियन बी को हम, एन ऑफ ए यूनियन बी का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? अगर हमें फॉर्मूला ही ना याद हो तो हमें ये चीज़ याद रखनी है कि अगर इस तरीके का हमारे पास वेन डायग्राम है जिसमें ये P है, ये Q है, ये R है, ये S है, तो हमारे पास वैसे भी एन ऑफ ए यूनियन B का एक जनरल फार्मूला, अगर इस केस को भी मैं ना लूँ, एक जनरल फार्मूला, दैट इज़ एन ऑफ ए प्लस एन ऑफ बी माइनस एन ऑफ ए इंटरसेक्शन बी। इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि एक बार तो मैंने इस पूरे ए को ऐड करा, फिर मैंने इस पूरे बी को ऐड करा, अब क्या हुआ कि इस पूरे को ऐड करते टाइम क्यू आ गया, इस पूरे बी को ऐड करते टाइम क्यू दोबारा आ गया, तो मुझे एक बार ही हटाना पड़ेगा, तो आई विल सबट्रैक्ट वंस एन ऑफ ए इंटरसेक्शन बी, ओके। सो इससे हमें अच्छे से ये फॉर्मूला याद रहेगा। अब एन ऑफ ए यूनियन बी यूनियन सी, इफ देयर आर 3 एलिमेंट्स देन द फॉर्मूला इज एन ऑफ ए प्लस एन ऑफ बी प्लस एन ऑफ सी माइनस एन ऑफ ए इंटरसेक्शन बी माइनस एन ऑफ बी इंटरसेक्शन सी माइनस एन ऑफ सी इंटरसेक्शन ए प्लस एन ऑफ ए इंटरसेक्शन बी इंटरसेक्शन सी, ओके। व्हाट इज कॉम्प्लीमेंट? प्रोबेबिलिटी के टर्म्स में बात करती हूँ। प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ ए कॉम्प्लीमेंट इज 1 माइनस प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ ए, okay, and if I say probability of A complement intersection B complement, can I say that it is basically 1 minus probability of, इसका उल्टा क्या होगा? A union B, okay। I think this is clear. Now let us proceed. If I have been given that probability of A union B is 0.6 and probability of A intersection B is 0.2, then probability of A complement plus probability of B complement, ये क्या होगा? अगर आपको ना समझ में आए तो ये P, ये Q, ये R, ये S करके कर दिया करो सोल्व, ठीक है। मेरे को ये चीज़ तो पता है कि P प्लस Q प्लस R प्लस S हमेशा 1 होगा इन केस ऑफ प्रोबेबिलिटी। मुझे क्या दे रखा है कि प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ A यूनियन B 0.6 है, यानी कि P प्लस Q प्लस R 0.6 है, जिससे मेरे पास एस क्या आ गया, 0.4 आ गया, राइट। क्यू मेरे पास क्या है, 0.2 है, वो मुझे इंटरसेक्शन दे रखी है, वेट फॉर अ वाइल, वो मुझे इंटरसेक्शन दे रखी है 0.2, राइट। तो मेरे पास P प्लस आर क्या आ गया, 0.4, और मुझे बताना गया प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ ए कॉम्प्लीमेंट क्या होगा कि सिर्फ ए के बाहर सब कुछ हो, यानी कि ये ए है तो इसके बाहर सब कुछ क्या है, आर प्लस एस है, और बी के बाहर क्या है, प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ बी कॉम्प्लीमेंट, वो हमारे पास P प्लस एस है। और अगर मेरे को बताना हो कि इन दोनों का समेशन करके वो क्या होगा, तो वो P प्लस आर प्लस 2s होगा। P प्लस आर 0.4 है, एस हमारे पास 0.4 था ही, तो 2 इंटू 0.4 करके हमारे पास आंसर आ जाएगा 1.2 आंसर। आई होप दिस इज़ डन, लेट्स प्रोसीड। ओके, नाउ इफ इट इज़ लाइक, ये हमने वेन डायग्राम वगैरह अब कर लिया। अब हम पढ़ेंगे कंडीशनल प्रोबेबिलिटी। व्हाट वी विल स्टडी नाउ इज द टॉपिक ऑफ कंडीशनल प्रोबेबिलिटी। एंड इंडिपेंडेंट इवेंट्स।